This week on ATP Tennis, we travel to Austria to see if Alex Corretja can capture his third Kitzbühel title. Greg Rosetsky's 2003 season has been a bit of a roller coaster. This week, the big serving Brit returns to Indianapolis, where he'll attempt to defend his 2002 crown. And we hit the road with Austria's #1 player, Stefan Kubek. But first, we head to Umag in Croatia, where a field of 32 took to the courts to compete for the Croatia Open title. Still on clay, 35 points are up for grabs as the race to Houston gathers pace, as well as €55,000 for the winner. Leading the draw is the #1 seed, Carlos Moya. The Spaniard has had success here 3 times in the past and is looking to add a 4th Umag title to his collection. Breezing through to the semi-finals, his next opponent is teenage sensation Rafael Nadal. Both players are from Mallorca and are used to each other's style of play. The last time they met was at the Tennis Masters Hamburg in May, when Nadal upset the former world #1. This is the teenager's first ATP semi. But from the start, it's clear Moya isn't ready to pass the limelight over to Nadal just yet. He breaks him immediately in the opening game. But Nadal demonstrates what huge potential he has. Despite losing the first set 6-4, he stays level with Moya in the second. That is until the 7th game. Here the former world #1 accelerates, and at full throttle he captures the second break of the match. So with a solid 6-4, 6-4 win, Moya sets the record straight with Nadal and is through to his 4th Umag final. The bottom half of the draw is a far less predictable affair. Slovakia's Dominik Hrabati oust 5th seed Fernando Vicente, dropping just 3 games before making his way to the final 4. But the most thrilling match of the tournament so far was between 7th seed Filippo Volandri and #2 seed Fernando Gonzalez. Still battling a stomach virus, Gonzalez pushed his body to the limit before finally bowing out in a final set tiebreak, leaving Volandri a place in the semis. At 5 games all, Volandri takes the first break of the match. But Hrabati breaks right back and forces the set to a tiebreak. Asserting his dominance, Hrabati creates a 5-3 lead. But Volandri makes a superb comeback. Clawing his way back out of a 5-3 deficit, he goes on to claim the first set. And breezing through the second set 6-1, Italy's Filippo Volandri books his place in the final.
6-1.
So it's rookie versus veteran. While Moya is familiar with final round territory, this is Volandri's first ATP final. But with a solid performance so far this year, breaking into the ATP's top 100 and becoming Italy's highest ranked player, he should be comfortable with his surroundings. In just over 40 minutes, Moya clinches the first set, 6-4. But it's for Landry who takes control in the second set. With pinpoint accuracy off both sides, he goes on to lock the score at 1-all. In the final set, Moya races to a 4-love lead. But Landry digs his way out, winning 5 games in a row. He changes the score to 5-4 in his favour. It's not enough though. Moya storms away with the next 3 games and earns a record 4th win at UMAG. This is his 3rd singles trophy of the year. Over on the doubles court, Rafael Nadal was back in action, partnering Lopez Moron for the first time. The pair beat Todd Perry and Tom Shimada in straight sets. This is 17-year-old Nadal's first ATP title. The RCA Championships in Indianapolis take place the same week and is the first tournament of the North American hard-court circuit. 40 race points are at stake and over $74,000 are on offer for the winner. Heading the draw is Andy Roddick, who's making his first appearance in Indianapolis. Currently lying 5th in the champions race, Roddick had a tough first-round encounter with France's Cyril Saulnier, closing it out in 3 sets. Progressing smoothly through the rest of the draw, he reaches the semi-final and sets up a meeting with Shen Schalken. Schalken is on top form, disposing of 7th seed Robbie Gnepri en route to the semis. The Dutchman has now won 12 of his past 13 matches. But he's no match for Roddick's lethal all-court game, which is firing on all cylinders from the start. There's no stopping the American as he tears through Schalken. The Dutchman has no effective answer to the barrage of shots coming his way. And wrapping up the match with an ace, Andy Roddick is just 1 match away from securing his 3rd title of 2003. In the bottom half of the draw, Greg Rosetsky is unable to defend his title, losing in the 2nd round. Instead, the rising star of the event is Nicholas Thoman, who advances through to his first ever ATP semi. A tremendous achievement for the Frenchman, who prior to this tournament hadn't won a single ATP level match. He now plays number 2 seed Paradorn Shrishrapan. Despite going 1 set down, Shrishrapan asserts his authority immediately in the second with perfect touch. One set all, and Thoman is still stretching the Thai player, providing a gallant effort for the crowd. But Shrishrapan's solid hard-court play eventually overwhelms the Frenchman, and the Thai player is through to his 2nd final of the year. With no breaks of serve, the first set was decided on the tie-break. 2 mini breaks and 2 aces are enough to secure Roddick the first set.
Yeah, Roddick
And the American goes on to force the only break of the match in the 5th game of the 2nd set. It's enough to win him the match. So Andy Roddick claims his 3rd title of the year. The American is now 15-1 since teaming up with coach Brad Gilbert at Queen's. In the doubles tournament, Mario Ancic and Andy Ram teamed up for the first time and now have a perfect record. Defeating Diego Ayala and Robbie Ginepri in the final, the pair won their first title in 3 sets. On this week's Mercedes-Benz Play of the Week, Feliciano Lopez stuns the crowd with this ferocious forehand. Lopez just blasts the ball cross-court. And that was the Mercedes-Benz Play of the Week. Still to come on ATP tennis, we hit the fairways with Stefan Kubek, and we travel to Austria for the Generali Open Kitzbühel. It's a demanding schedule for the modern-day tennis player. There isn't a lot of time between matches and tournaments, and throw in the countless media and sponsor commitments, it's a pretty busy life. So what do players do to unwind when they eventually get that precious day off? Austrian star Stefan Kubek is busy this week trying to win his country's premier tennis tournaments, but he likes nothing better than to hit the golf course. Problem is, Stefan is often in unfamiliar surroundings, and finding the way to the course can be the hardest and most time-consuming part of the day. But that was before he got his new toy.
Can I check my email, please?
A simple email from the local golf course instructor can be loaded directly into the iPack, which can then be transported to Kubek's car and downloaded into the vehicle's voice navigation system. With the help of iPack, Kubek arrives at the course without the stress of road maps or the possibility of getting lost on the way.
Dem Straßenverlauf 2 Kilometer folgen. In 150 Metern geradeaus fahren. Sie sind in Ihrem Ziel angekommen.
Hello, nice to meet you. Thanks for the email. No problem.
Kubek enjoys his golf, but does he get onto the fairways and greens very often?
Yeah, actually when you're at the tennis tournaments, and sometimes you can play 1 or 2 rounds of golf every week, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, good shot.
So what are his strengths and weaknesses?
Well, my weaknesses are for sure the putting, and my strengths maybe the woods.
Okay, stark.
The competition for tennis players on the tour is often just as fierce on the golf course as it is on the tennis court.
And there's a few other guys, they play a lot of golf. I just play for fun, and they play and bet on the golf course, and they have real good handicap, but for me it's just fun.
It's probably just as well that Stefan is a great tennis player, because as a professional golfer with a handicap of 24, he might just struggle to make the cut. Back to Europe, and the tour hits Kitzbühel in Austria. The Generali Open has a tantalising 60 points plus 160,000 euros for the winner. The draw is opened up to 48 players. Juan Carlos Ferrero took top billing, but stumbled at the quarter-finals to 9th seed Mariano Zabaleta. Zabaleta now takes on Nicolas Massau, who dashed Austrian hopes by defeating Stefan Kubek in the first round before making it through to the final four. They've played 3 times before, with Zabaleta leading 2-1. Even though Zabaleta has been in great form, having just won Vorstadt a few weeks ago, he struggles against Massau, who races to a 3-love lead. And the Chilean takes charge again in the second set, asserting his dominance with aggressive play. So Massau is through to the final and has now won his last 10 matches. In the lower section of the draw, Alex Corretja is unable to convert a third Kitzbühel title, making an early exit. But 13th seed Feliciano Lopez is through to his second consecutive semi-final, only to come face-to-face with number 2 seed Guillermo Coria. Again, the pair played each other in the semis just last week in Stuttgart. Coria won easily then. Will it be a similar matchup this time around? Unfortunately not for Lopez, as Coria continues his hot form, sailing through the first set, 6-1. Lopez tries everything to get into the match, but even though he pulls off some impressive winners, he's not consistent enough to make a real impact. And Coria reinforces his superiority, finishing the match off with an ace. He's through to the final. So it's an all-South American final, and both players are looking for back-to-back titles, hot off their success at Stuttgart and Amersfoort last week. They played once before on clay. Coria was the victor. Breaking twice in the opening set, Coria races off to a 6-1 lead. The second set is a closer affair, with Massau's ground strokes hitting the mark, but Coria keeps his focus, and holding his serve, he goes on to take a 2-set lead. And breaking Massau twice in the final set, Guillermo Coria claims the Generali Open crown in straight sets. The Argentine is the first player to win back-to-back titles this year. In the doubles, the number 2 seeds Martin Damm and Cyril Suk won their 8th tournament together. The Czech team defeated Jürgen Melzer and Alexander Payer. It's their 3rd title this year. In this week's Champions Race, still in joint 9th, Martin Verkerk and Felix Mantilla. Mark Villapousis remains in 8th. Dropping down 1 place to 7th is Germany's Rainer Schüttler. Moving up 1 spot to 6th is UMAG title holder Carlos Moya. Strengthening his position in 5th is Indianapolis champion Andy Roddick. Falling 1 place to 4th is the AA, Andre Agassi. 3rd is Generali Open winner GMO Coria, his 60 points intensifying his bid for a first-time appearance at the Tennis Masters Cup in Houston. Sliding back to 2nd is Wimbledon champion Roger Federer. But out in front, regaining his lead, is Juan Carlos Ferrero. Reaching the quarter-finals at Kitzbühel means he goes 5 points clear of the rest of the field. In the doubles race, Generali Open champions Martin Damm and Cyril Suk reinforced their 5th position. They're 55 points ahead of Jonas Bjorkman and Todd Woodbridge. But still in the lead are the twins, Bob and Mike Bryan. Making news this week, Pete Sampras has confirmed that he will not defend his 2002 US Open crown. While playing at a celebrity golf tournament at Lake Tahoe, he told NBC TV there's a good chance he will officially retire soon. Sampras only recently received his 10th ESPY for Best Moment at the annual awards ceremony in Los Angeles after winning his 14th Grand Slam title at last year's US Open.
Ever to win 11 Masters.
Andre Agassi, this year's Australian Open, Miami Masters, San Jose and Houston winner, received the award for Best Male Tennis Player. The ESPY Awards were created by ESPN in 1993 and are given for excellence in sports performance.
Right here tonight, but if it wasn't for them.
Thailand is preparing to spend in excess of $5 million ahead of its first ATP tournament in September, as it strives to make the event one of Asia's top tennis tournaments. Local favourite Paradorn Srichaphan joined a top-class field, including French Open champion Juan Carlos Ferrero, Spain's Carlos Moya, and US star Andy Roddick. The Thailand Open will run from September 22nd to 28th, and it's expected that in excess of 70 million people will watch the live broadcast. Wimbledon finalist Mark Philippoussis and 2002 Wimbledon champion Leighton Hewitt will partner each other in the doubles at the Mercedes-Benz Cup in LA and later in August at the Masters Cincinnati. 3 Aussies are vying for a double start in the upcoming Davis Cup semi-final against Switzerland. Whilst Todd Woodbridge seems a certainty to make up one half of the doubles team for Australia, Wayne Arthurs, Philippoussis and Hewitt offer Davis Cup captain John Fitzgerald a number of different options for the much anticipated September clash. Although no announcements have been made, Roger Federer will no doubt be playing singles and doubles again, as he has the last 2 ties this year. Federer combined with veteran Marc Rosset in the tie against France to beat experienced doubles players Fabrice Santoro and Nicolas Escudé. August is just days away and the tennis keeps getting better. Canada kicks off the month when it hosts the Tennis Masters Montreal. The following week, Cincinnati in the US hosts the Western and Southern Financial Group Masters. With close to $5 million up for grabs in both Montreal and Cincinnati, you can expect some hot August nights. In the 3rd week of August, Long Island is the location for the TD Waterhouse Cup, and the month winds up in New York with the last slam of the year, the US Open. Next week on ATP Tennis, we'll have all the action from Los Angeles as Andre Agassi returns to defend his Mercedes-Benz Cup crown. We take a look into the crystal ball to see if we can predict who'll finish the year as #1 in the ATP Champions race. And don't forget, for all the latest scores and all the breaking news, hit the web at atptennis.com. You can track the progress of your favourite player, find out who's leading the Champions race, do a bit of shopping, or check out the Play of the Week video clips for the chance to win some fantastic prizes. We'll see you next time.